All right, so today we've got a story that honestly has everything. We're talking huge money, one of the most bitter rivalries in all of sports, some amazing street art, and of course, a late night act of vandalism that just pulls it all together. And really, it all boils down to this one simple question. A piece of art, a celebration of a new hero, pops up and then boom, it's gone almost overnight. So to figure out why, we've got to unpack this really dramatic story of a high-stakes deal that went so wrong for one London club and, well, very right for another. Okay, so let's set the scene here. It's Thursday, and this street artist, an Arsenal fan who goes by North Banksy, unveils his newest piece. He paints it in this spot they call the tunnel, and it's this incredible image of the star player, Eberechi Eze, rocking an Arsenal shirt, right in the middle of his signature celebration. I mean, it's a huge, public welcome to the team for their new hero. But then, you fast forward to the early hours of Saturday morning, and the mural is just gone, completely covered up with white paint. That celebration just erased in an instant. Now, you have to understand, this was not just some random act of destruction. No way. It was a message, loud and clear. And to get what that message was, we've got to look at the enormous business deal that set this whole thing off.
Yeah, at its heart, this story is really all about what happens when this intense, old-school sporting rivalry just slams head-on into big money. The vandalism, it was a direct reaction to one of the wildest transfer stories of the summer, what we call a classic transfer hijack.
So let's just talk about the price tag for a second. £67.5 million. That is the insane amount of money Arsenal agreed to pay to get Eberechi Eze from Crystal Palace. And, a number that huge, it always brings pressure. But in this case, it brought a ton of drama with it. And the way they did it was just, wow. The audacity was stunning. See, Tottenham, Arsenal's biggest, most bitter North London rivals, thought they had him. They had the deal locked down. Reports said terms were agreed with the club, agreed with the player. It was pretty much a done deal. And then literally at the 11th hour, Arsenal just swoops in, matches the offer, and somehow convinces the player to come to their side instead. It was absolutely brutal, just a savage move in the cutthroat world of football transfers. And it's just wild how quickly this all happened. I mean, think about it. Thursday, the mural goes up to celebrate. Friday, the player is having his medical checkup. And by Saturday morning, that very celebration is literally painted over. The absolute joy of the deal and the pure rage it caused all played out on the city streets in less than 48 hours. Incredible. So you see, this was never, ever just about a painting. It was a direct shot from one fan base to another. They used the artist's own work as a canvas, but for their frustration. And just like that, it became a brand new flashpoint in a rivalry that's been raging for over 100 years. And the people who did this, well, they weren't exactly subtle about who they were. Along with all that white paint they splashed everywhere, they left a little calling card nearby. A single word that pointed the finger directly at the fans of the club that had just lost out on signing that star player. The word they painted was yids. Now, okay, we need a little context here. This is an anti-Semitic slur, but it's a word that has, pretty controversially, been reclaimed by some parts of the Tottenham fan base. They see it as a way to kind of own and deflect anti-Semitic abuse they get from other fans. So seeing that word painted at the scene immediately suggested to pretty much everyone that Spurs supporters were the ones behind the vandalism. But, the story doesn't just end there with a destroyed piece of art. Oh, no. Because the artist, this North Banksy guy, he came back with a response that was, well, it was just masterful. He completely turned the tables. And this is where you really see the culture of this rivalry shine. Instead of just getting mad, the artist hops on social media and fires off this perfect, witty comeback. He directly compares his short-lived artwork to Tottenham's short-lived grasp on their transfer target. It was this amazing digital counterpunch, and you better believe the fans went wild for it. And he didn't even stop there. He ends his post with a simple promise: we will be back soon. And see, that wasn't just him being defiant. What he did was frame this whole thing as this ongoing cultural war, fought with spray paint and social media posts. The rivalry had officially opened up a brand new front. So when you kind of step back and look at the whole picture, you realize this is so much more than just a story about a ruined painting. It's actually a perfect snapshot of what being a sports fan looks like in the modern world. So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, it shows us that even though sports are global now, that intense local passion is still a huge force. It proves that a £67 million business deal isn't just some number on a spreadsheet. It has real emotional consequences right there on the street. And it just reveals this fascinating crossover between professional sport, huge money, and street art, where that raw, almost tribal energy from the stadium just spills out and gets sprayed right onto the city's walls. And all of this really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Right now, we're in this era of super intense rivalries, all amplified by social media and fueled by just absurd amounts of money. And we're seeing fan passion bubble up in new and, sometimes destructive ways. So it really makes you wonder, right? Where exactly is the line between being a passionate fan and being a vandal? And who gets to be the one to draw it?